Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. And welcome to another When Beauty Turns Ugly. I feel like it's been a long time since I've done a dedicated When Beauty Turns Ugly video, but this is a series where I look at beauty routines, product treatments that went very, very wrong, lawsuits, etc. And today's story is not new in any way, but I literally just came across it. It's about the TikToker, the Courtney Michelle, who went from treating a breakout to burning her skin so badly that the scar that was left behind was literally in the shape of an exfoliating toner pad. So let's get into the story and what happened. So Courtney had just switched birth control, and like many people, it triggered a wave of hormonal acne. Very normal, happens fairly often, but this wasn't the type of breakout you could kind of spot treat with a dab of cream. This was one of those almost like cystic acne, deep under the skin, painful, really hard to manage. You know, the ones where you can't quite spot where they are, but you can feel them. I remember I had one on my forehead and I couldn't raise my eyebrows without it hurting. They are so painful, so painful. But you know, she wanted relief from that because it was so painful. She thought what she could do is kind of bring those spots to the surface and calm them down. And that's when she made, possibly with all due respect to her, one of the worst skincare decisions / skincare combinations I think I've ever seen, and something that she would come to regret. Okay, so as you can see, Courtney reached for two products that she has used countless times before. Noxzema Ultimate Clear Anti-Blemish Pads. Now, these pads contain 2% salicylic acid to help treat acne breakouts, alcohol, menthol, and eucalyptus for that signature tingle that a lot of people associate with not just Noxzema, but old skincare, like 90s skincare. They're allegedly dermatologist tested, designed to swipe across the face and then be thrown away. She also reaches for 100% pure tea tree oil, this one here, which is a natural essential oil with antibacterial properties, which I love when formulated in skincare. But she used a 100% tea tree, very potent, very powerful, and very irritating when applied undiluted. So bless her, instead of using the products as instructed, she kind of made this skincare combination. She soaked the Noxzema pad with tea tree oil and left it on her skin overnight. So I got dog hair somewhere on my face and I can't quite place where it is. Now, bear in mind, I think that we're all quite skincare literate here. So just seeing that, it probably sent you into a panic, right? But I did this probably when I was about 14. I used to use something called TCP on my skin, which I believe is like an antiseptic for cuts and grazes, but I used to use it as a direct spot treatment. And what I would do is just dab a little bit on a spot, leave it overnight, and it would go. Kind of makes sense, very drying. I was always left with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. But one night I pretty much did the same thing. I thought, you know what, this product works so well when applied a little bit on the skin. Why not apply a load to a cotton pad, tape it onto my forehead overnight with masking tape, and surely overnight my spot can soak that up and it'll be gone by the morning. I woke up with burns. I woke up with burns that were bloody and pussy. So I've done this. Obviously now I know this isn't the thing to do, but I've done this before. Now, as we can see, she woke up with acne that looked flatter, but clearly that came at a cost. The patch hadn't just treated her breakout, it had burnt right through her skin. And the most shocking part is that burn is the exact circular shape of the pad. You can literally see the pattern of the pad imprinted onto her skin. It's almost like a chemical branding on her skin. Now, instead of just that breakout, that acne, she now has to deal with a painful burn and a scar that would take so much longer to fade. And unfortunately, this is one of very few videos that she has on this scarring. She doesn't talk about it that much. She didn't really talk about it that much at all. But as we can see at the end of the video, it took a long time to heal. I don't know what product she used to heal it. It looked like she used a very thick, I'm guessing like antiseptic cream or something. I don't really know. And she had a cake on the makeup to hide it. So why did this happen? I think we both know, but on paper, right, both products have their place in an acne treatment. So let's start off with the pads, right? First of all, I don't know who's still using Noxzema. I mean, if they, oh, got the hair. I mean, if they work, but they're so outdated and there is just better options out there for you now, especially eucalyptus, things like that. Obviously, they contain 2% salicylic acid, which is, as we know, a chemical exfoliant that like clears congestion, safe in short contact, right? But left on overnight in a soaked pad is going to act like some kind of DIY chemical pill. We have denatured alcohol in here as well, which helps deliver ingredients, but also strips natural oils and dries the skin. And usually in these pads, it's fine. Short contact, it helps ingredients penetrate the skin and also gives off that cooling sensation because the alcohol actually evaporates, giving it that cooling sensation. But when you combine that with hours of contact, it accelerates irritation. We also have menthol and eucalyptus oil in here and that cooling tingle, but that sensation is essentially irritation and not the effectiveness of the product. Prolonged exposure is obviously going to irritate the skin. And then we have that undiluted tea tree oil. Antibacterial properties, fine, but it's too strong in pure form and is going to cause redness, burning, and contact dermatitis too. Put them together and you've just made a whole cocktail of acids, alcohol, irritants, and essential oils pressed on the skin for hours. Unfortunately, that chemical burn was a given, you know? Now, you may be familiar with Dr. Sandra Lee, aka Dr. Pimple Popper, and she weighed in on this case.
Okay, I get it. You've had an episode of really kind of bad cystic or deep-seated acne. So you figure using some of the products that you used in the past, but kind of making it extra potent by keeping it there for longer may be helpful. But as you can see, that didn't work in this case because those Noxzema pads are impregnated with salicylic acid. Salicylic acid actually deactivates over time, but not if you leave a soaked patch on your skin overnight. So that is like keeping the acid on your skin. It's going to really inflame and burn the area. You have what's called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation now. And that's okay because that will likely fade. There won't be any permanent damage from that you have to try to keep it out of the sun and try not to aggravate the area. I guess the lesson here is to know that stronger acids will not necessarily clear up acne faster or better.
So yeah, pretty much what we've just gone through, but it's good to hear it from a professional, you know? So yeah, as she mentioned, it's different from just rubbing a chemical exfoliant on your skin because when it's on a cotton pad, you swipe it on, bin the pad, and it deactivates over time. But when you have this pad that's constantly delivering that active ingredient to your skin, you're gonna get post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. I feel like although we know like not to do this, I feel like it's really relatable, right? Like she wasn't trying some crazy TikTok hack that she had seen. She wasn't making like a DIY lemon mask. She was using products that she trusted in the way that she thought might make them more effective. I understand to those whose life isn't all about skincare, that kind of makes sense, right? Do you think it makes sense? Let me know in the comments. I think it makes sense, but that decision turned her everyday acne treatment into an accidental chemical burn. And because her skin looks so clear in all the other videos beyond just wearing makeup, it kind of makes sense that she doesn't have a whole lot of experience with these products, in my opinion. Like they work for her every so often, so she thought combine them, you know, it's going to work. But it's a kind of like a reminder that when it comes to skincare, more and a higher percentage isn't always better. Sometimes sticking to the directions of the packaging and a little bit of patience can save you a lot of pain in the long run. So what do you think? Would you have spotted the mistake before it happened? I think we would have. We all know this kind of thing. I also feel like putting under a beanie hat and the heat that must have come from that, can that accelerate things? I don't know. But also, be honest with me. I told you my TCP story. Have you ever pushed a product too far and like paid the price for it? Do let me know in the comments down below, and hopefully I'll see you next time.
I've been getting this question a lot. So I know it's kind of hard to tell from the video, but at the time I was in between birth controls and it caused a hormonal reaction that resulted in some cystic acne. So I had deep acne underneath the skin that I was trying to pull to the surface and treat because it was super painful. And so I mixed those two products, which I use every single day for years as just my daily toner. I've had absolutely no adverse effects. Works great. And so I thought, oh, if I leave it on overnight, I'll get even better results. And it got rid of the acne, but it burned me. So